Welcome to the podcast, everyone. We're diving into an intriguing development on TYT where Repa's Marjorie Taylor Greene grabs the spotlight with a big announcement about U.S. funding to Israel.
Yep,
It's making waves.
absolutely. It's really caught a lot of attention lately. The video is featured on TYT and it's packed with segments on amendments, Ukraine funding, foreign lobbying, even evangelical beliefs. Quite the mix, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like the whole package of political commentary. So, first off, there's a segment where she's introducing some new amendments, which is juicy in its own right. Those amendments sort of set the stage for her, wouldn't you say?
For sure. And then she quickly moves into the broader theme of US funding for Israel amid the ongoing conflict in Gaza. I mean, that's a huge policy topic that stirs up lots of debate.
Right. It's like right out in the open. And TYT's format helps present it with a raw,
Yeah,
unfiltered approach. They're not sugarcoating anything. It's a big political moment in real time.
exactly. They basically let her speak her mind while TU as a platform give context. And don't forget, the video includes chapters on foreign lobbying and APAC. It's fascinating how those subjects interweave with her stance on funding.
Totally. It reminds me of how sometimes political debates feel like a layered cake. Each layer, whether it's amendments, lobbying, or even evangelical beliefs, adds its own flavor to the overall
Right.
narrative. It definitely makes you think about what really drives these debates.
Yeah, and speaking of layers, there's a segment on evangelical beliefs, which is always a hot button when discussing politics and funding. It's interesting how those beliefs seem to uh, influence policy decisions on both sides of the aisle.
Absolutely. And what's striking is that Rep. Greene's remarks aren't just political commentary, they're also like a signal about who she's aligning with and who she's battling. It's almost like a political showdown played out live.
Right, especially when you add that she took a shot at fellow Republicans too. I mean, she did call out figures like Lindsey Graham, which stokes the fire within the party itself.
Yeah, that's a really bold move. It's not just about the policy on funding for Israel, but also about realigning political stances. In a way, it's reshaping the narrative from within her own party. That in
Yeah,
itself is pretty provocative.
true, but here's where I have a little critique. While her bold statements are attention grabbing, one could argue that they might oversimplify some of the deeper, more nuanced issues underlying US funding and geopolitical stability. What do you think?
I get that point, and it's a fair critique. While the announcement is dramatic and certainly makes headlines, it does seem to lean into populist rhetoric. It's like she's harnessing the moment rather than digging into every layer of complexity. It's a
Yep,
balancing act between bold politics and detailed policy analysis.
right. So, while it's engaging, it might be missing some of the deeper context, like historical relationships, strategic interests, and the broader implications of foreign policy decisions. That's something the mainstream often gets into in detail.
Exactly, exactly. And TYT as a platform has their own way of delivering that mix of commentary and context. They play it up with a lot of energy. The whole format sort of feels like a marathon of political punches and
Yeah,
counterpoints. It's not exactly your quiet boardroom discussion.
no kidding. And the production itself is a bit of a spectacle, isn't it? With the live show component and all those chapters, MTG introduces new amendments, Ukraine funding, foreign lobbying, evangelical beliefs. It's like you're navigating through a dynamic multimedia political landscape.
Right, it's like the future of political commentary combined with live interactive elements. And one of the things that stands out is how the audience's reactions can almost influence the flow. You got 428K views and thousands of engagements almost instantly, an immediate measure of
Yep,
impact. That audience data is fascinating in its own right.
absolutely. And it also raises points about how digital media platforms really are reshaping the way political news is consumed. Traditional news might not have this level of immediacy and interaction. It's a whole new ballgame.
Totally. It's like you're in a room where ideas clash live, and your engagement is a part of the narrative. And TYT's environment seems to empower
Yeah.
that. Even the merchandise and branding around it add another layer of identity to the whole movement.
Oh, yeah, the merch is almost like a sartorial statement. But circling back, do you think Greene's announcement might have longer term political ramifications beyond just a viral moment?
I'd say yes, because it taps into a larger populist sentiment and a reemergence of hardline political stances. It could very well shift debates on future funding decisions, not only for Israel, but also on how foreign policy is handled in Congress. It's a ripple effect that goes beyond the immediate headlines.
That makes sense. And the segment on Ukraine funding earlier in the video, how do you see that fitting into the narrative? It seems like there's an underlying theme of challenging mainstream foreign policy narratives.
Yeah, it does appear that way. The combination of Ukraine funding, foreign lobbying, and then moving on to Israel funding creates an umbrella of we need change sentiment. It's almost like they're trying to open up the conversation about how US involvement abroad is managed.
Right.
That's a pretty ambitious narrative to weave in one go.
Indeed. And all of this comes at a time when traditional media is already under scrutiny. Meanwhile, TYT prides itself on being unfiltered and direct, which attracts viewers who might feel estranged or overlooked by mainstream narratives.
Right, and there's also that interesting bit about fearing criticism from the mainstream media. The video explicitly lays out segments on that subject, which really underscores the confrontation between newly emerging political voices and established media outlets. It really highlights the divide in media trust these days.
True, and it's almost like a rallying cry for their viewers. It says, we are challenging the gatekeepers. And that ideological positioning definitely affects how the policies are interpreted. It's as if being critical becomes a badge of honor.
Exactly, and it's kind of a double-edged sword. On one hand, it mobilizes a certain base that wants that rebellious stance. On the other, it might further polarize an already divided electorate. It's a trade-off in the pursuit of bold political change.
Agreed. And this balance between provocation and policy substance, well, it's really interesting. It certainly makes you wonder about the future directions of political commentary. Do you think this style is sustainable long term?
That's a tough one. It feels like it works in the current digital climate because audiences crave immediate visceral content. But sustaining it might require deeper policy discussions over time. Otherwise, the drama might eventually wear thin. It's like a reality TV show meets congressional debate.
Yeah, that's an interesting analogy. A mix of entertainment and political theater. And do you feel TYT manages to keep that balance well?
I think so, mostly, though sometimes it can lean a bit too much on the spectacle rather than substance. There's always that risk of prioritizing buzz over depth, but it definitely gets people talking and engages a large audience.
Yeah.
And in today's media landscape, that in itself is a huge achievement.
Absolutely. And it certainly serves as a reminder of how political discourse is evolving. It's not just about policy anymore, it's about the performance, the narrative, and the constant feedback loop from digital audiences.
Right. And one final thought, it's interesting how merchandise and branding play into this, almost like symbols of allegiance. The whole TYT shop, the slogans, even the t-shirts become part of the conversation.
Yep.
It blurs the line between news, activism, and brand identity.
For sure, and it shows how modern politics encapsulates every aspect of culture, from policy to fashion. And while that might be exciting, it also calls for a critical look at what is being prioritized in these discussions.
Exactly. It's a conversation that's as much about style as it is about substance. The big announcement from rappers Greene on TYT is just one snapshot of a larger evolving dialogue. And it certainly leaves us with plenty to ponder about the future of political discourse.
Agreed. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. There's so much more to unpack, but we'll call it a day for now. Stay curious and keep questioning everything.
Until next time, keep the debate alive, and thanks for joining us today.